Want to keep up to date with what's happening in Thailand? Download the Thaiger app. It works on both Android and Apple. And it's free. All the latest news, videos, and information at one click from your phone. Go to your Play Store or App Store and download now.
Good morning, Thailand, and welcome to our fourth week of the program. Goodness gracious, great to have you with us. Thank you for being with us for our fourth week as we find out what's happening around the country. And we promise today we are going to not talk very much about the Phuket Sandbox at all, because we've got much more important things to do and we've got more important people to speak to, including all the way from Pattaya. We've got Trev from Buzzin Pattaya. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks for the invite. It's kind of you to invite me on your show.
And we've also got from Delivering Asia and also the Phuket Hotels Association, we've got Sumi. Thank you for joining us, Sumi.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning.
So we're going to focus our attention on what's happening in Pattaya. And can you just give us a bit of an overall impression of how the town is coping right now?
And obviously, it's not difficult to understand. They've been through a horrific time here. I mean, obviously, everywhere's pretty much been open, closed. Today is a new challenge because today they're allowing the gyms to reopen, swimming pool complexes to reopen, massage places to reopen. So today is a step of a step forward in terms of what we can and can't do here. How long that will last for, I guess, will depend on how it pans out, whether or not they have a spike in the COVID, etc. I mean, in general, Thai people, the one thing I love about Thai people is they're so resilient. It doesn't matter what you throw at them, they just deal with it and they crack on. Whereas for us, I tend to think we look at maybe the negative side a little bit more. But no, I mean, generally speaking, everyone's pretty much upbeat.
Now, the whole town of Pattaya, it's pretty much centered around the bar and entertainment scene, or have I got that wrong?
I think it's more about what it's most well known for. What people don't realize is that if you come to Pattaya, there's like 27 or 28 tourist attractions here, big tourist attractions. There's a lot of like the Nong Nooch Gardens and things like this. But because of obviously the fact that, it gets plastered everywhere on every possible social media out there about the bars, then that's what predominantly people focus on. Having said that, there is a massive change ahead. Walking streets under immense pressure. They are looking, and it looks very impossible now. If you'd have asked me this 10 years ago when I first got it, would this happen? I'd have laughed and said, not a chance. But right now, there is a huge, huge push with walking streets to the point where I think that, there is going to be this change, and they are going to look at changing the demographic and maybe getting, dare I say, more family orientated people here.
Well, walking street's one of the main sort of bar streets. What are they trying to gentrify it?
Well, the problem is, as I'm sure it's like rumor city here. There's a billion rumors going on, and it's very, very difficult to know what the real truth is in the matter. But the fact is that they have gone through Walking Street with a fine-tooth comb. They have taken down pretty much all the electrical cables. Remember those cables that used to hang around and explode in the rain, which is great fun to watch. But that all of that now is underground, or a huge amount of it, like probably 80% now is under the ground. There is this rumor, and don't hold me to this. This is just a rumor, but there is the rumor that come January, a lot of these clubs that are currently on the water side of Walking Street will be looking to renew their licenses. And the rumor, I stress this word rumor, but the rumor is that a lot of these licenses won't actually be granted, which would then pose the situation as to whether or not they will knock these buildings down and create this open plaza that, they're talking about allowing boats to come up and moor and just step onto Walking Street. I mean, if it happens, I think that's a great thing for the city. I really do.
Yeah, well, for me, I've been to Pattaya a couple of times now, and you're right. I mean, there's more to entertainment venues. I mean, you've got beautiful beaches there, great hotels. Yeah, definitely. When you talked about changing demographics, so you're thinking more about families. What other demographics do you think they would like to attract?
I think when you look at like the demographic demographic of the people that come here. I mean, obviously, Pattaya is well known for what it's well known for, and I don't think that's ever going to change. But what I do think is I think they're going to pick that segment up and they're going to push it a little bit further in town, a little bit further out of what we would consider public view. I think LK Metro, Tree Town, all that area, I think is going to boom in terms of the entertainment industry. But I think when you look at Walking Street, we always laugh and joke about the flag chasers, but nevertheless, these people do come here, the Chinese and the Indians, and I think they are trying to attract families. I think they are trying to bring that a bit more normality to the city rather than being known for the area that it's known for. And if you can pick up, let's be honest. I mean, as someone that lives here, I can count on this hand the amount of times I've been in Walking Street in the last 5 years of my own free will. Sure, when I have friends come over and they want to experience it, okay, let's go do the Walking Street thing. As a person that lives here, I'd rather stick a pin in my eye than go down Walking Street because it doesn't do anything. It's not what we would go to. I go to my friends' bars, and I mean, I live over on the east side of Pattaya, the dark side as it's called. So I don't even venture a lot into town. So I think if they were to make the Walking Street area more family orientated, more family friendly, I think that can only be a positive because then they can take what we know it for that's in Walking Street right now and move it across to LK.
Can we ask you the big question, and we get accused of mucking this up all the time, Trev, and that is, how do you pronounce Pattaya? How do you pronounce it?
Oh man, do you know what, right? I read, write and speak Thai, and I get nailed for this. I get nailed for it. So, I mean, I just do it to wind people up now. I really do. I'm so bored of getting 500 messages. Oh, you said Pattaya, Pattaya, Pattaya. I mean, it's at the end of the day, I just call it Pattaya. That's it, Pattaya.
Well, that's sort of pretty close, I think.
Pattaya.
How do you say it, Sumi?
Pattaya.
Pattaya. Yeah, I think that's how the Thai say it, but a lot of Westerners say Pattaya. 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 Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Right. I think whichever way we say it, people know what we're saying, right?
Well, this is the thing. I've never known a word that so many people get so hooked up on when it really is irrelevant. It's like, really? Is that what you care about? Seriously?
Trev, over the past year, whilst a lot of businesses have been closing, has there been a lot of movement on fixing up potholes and some of the infrastructure? I mean, the poor town gets flooded every year. You have that problem around the beach road. Have they fixed any of that?
I think there's a few more canoe stalls have opened up now just for when the rainy season comes again. I mean, the flooding is, do you know what? It's incredible with the flooding because, as you quite rightly said, they put these huge pipes under the ground to try and take the floods away, and they just don't work. It really is as simple as that. It just doesn't work. In terms of have they been doing anything cosmetically to the city? Yeah, they have. They have been busy, and to be fair to them here, they've done a good job. Walking Street, as I say, they've taken all those cables down, and it does look nice. There's a lot of repainting, a lot of resurfacing. I mean, soy pothole, as we call it, is no potholes at the moment. I mean, don't ask me that in 6 months' time because historically it gets washed away. But there is an upbeat feeling amongst the city here in terms of they are trying to do a lot more whilst they have the opportunity.
Sumi.
Yeah, well, I have a question like with Pattaya. So what do you see with the changing of the current situation now with the pandemic? Who do you think you'll see in terms of visitors that will be coming to the destination post-October?
I think the changes you will see will be more towards the dare I say the word mongering. I think, when you look at...
Okay, I'm going to stop you there, Trev. Can you explain, and this is a term I've heard before, what is a monger or what is mongering?
Okay, so basically it's a term or a nickname that's been associated to people that come here specifically for the evening entertainment.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
I say no more, my lips are sealed.
Sure. Okay, so continue on.
So, yeah, I think, Walking Street, I mean, let's be straight with each other here. Like, Walking Street put Pattaya on the map. There's no doubt about that. It's a fact. Nobody comes to Pattaya because they've got a nice beach. Although, give them credit where credit's due. They've done an incredible job with the beach. It really does look amazing, and fair play to them. But the fact still remains, if you're going to come to Thailand for beaches, we all know you go to Phuket, you go to the islands, we know that. But when you come to Pattaya, at the end of the day, walking streets what put this city on the map, and there's no argument about that. And anybody that wants to argue, in all fairness, I think you're being silly. So in terms of how it's going to unfold, I think Walking Street is going to adapt, and I think it's going to change. I think the people that came here originally to come to Walking Street for that nightlife entertainment side of things, listen, it's 2 minutes up the road, go to LK Metro, it's not exactly the end of the world. So that side will go over there now, and I think that will please everybody in terms of it's out the public eye directly. People that come here that do maybe end up in Walking Street and haven't necessarily come here exactly for Walking Street won't go, oh wow, look at all of this, I didn't know this was here kind of thing. So I think that will please the authorities. I think it will serve its purpose, and I think Walking Street will change. I think it's going to happen. For 10 years. Or for longer than I've been here, they've been threatening it, but they are actually doing it. And listen, we have to change. We can't keep digging our feet in the sand and just saying, well, no, we have to change. And if it means it brings new people into the city, it brings new funds of money into the city, and different people come in and can experience that side. And those that want to come here for what we know it for can experience it that side. Well, it's a winner. It's a winner for everybody.
Trev, just hold your breath there for a moment. We're going to have a quick break and then we'll be back. We've got Trev all the way from Buzzin Pattaya. We've got Sumi here in the studio, and you're on Good Morning Thailand. Checking headlines around Thailand, and 17 COVID-related deaths today and 3,355 new cases, 754 from Thai prisons. 300 tourism businesses were given SHA Plus certificates over the weekend in Phuket. Vietnam strikes a deal to manufacture vaccines, but which brand? You can find that out at thetiger.com. A poll shows Thai's lack of confidence in the vaccine campaign, and motorbike thieves have been arrested after 1 million baht of bikes were stolen. And you're watching Good Morning Thailand here on the Thaiger, and we've got all the way from Pattaya this morning, we've got Trev from Buzzin Pattaya, we've got Sumi here in the studio from the Phuket Hotels Association. We will be talking about the Sandbox a bit later. Trev, one thing I was interested in knowing is, where have all the prostitutes gone? A UN report about 3 years ago said there were some 30,000 prostitutes working in Pattaya. Where have they gone over the past year?
It's an interesting question because, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, a lot of the girls have returned home because, they've got no income here. So, they have to support themselves. And a lot of these, a lot of the bars here, some of these owners have done an incredible job in trying to support the girls while we're in this current lockdown.
They've been a bit innovative too.
Sorry?
They've been a bit innovative too. You might like to talk about that.
Well, if you're referring to the live streams, okay, let's do this then. So people are saying, oh, the live stream's horrendous. I think it's awesome. And I'll tell you why. Because right now, a lot, people don't appreciate this. So a lot of the girls that come here and work, unfortunately, not mostly, that's terrible, I shouldn't say that. It's not uncommon to have a girl working here that's a single mother. And in Thailand, a lot of the responsibilities of that mothering goes back to the grandparents. They take care of the child, and the mum comes here to work to try and earn money in order to support the family. So when you put them in lockdown, it's, there's not a lot of handouts that go out here. Back in the UK, you get your handouts, the government help you out, etc. So it's not like that here. So these girls come here to work, they come here to earn money, they come here to support their families. Now, when you take that away from them, there is very little opportunity for them to go out there and to find alternative work. Yes, of course, there are jobs out there, but it's not as clear-cut as it may appear. So when they introduced the live stream, I actually thought that was a good idea because it keeps people connected with the city. It keeps people connected with the girls if they can't come out here.
Trev, can you tell us what a live stream is? What is this live stream you're talking about?
Yeah, I'd like to know what goes on the live stream as well.
Well, see, look, your eyebrows are raising there. What goes on in there? I mean, basically, it's just, the girls will come onto camera, they will dance and, chat to you. You can live chat with them and stuff like that. And I mean, in all honesty, it's not really a great deal, to be fair, but it gives people the opportunity to say hello to the girls and buy them a drink. They can do I think it's called a super chat. They can buy them a drink. But, it supports the girls, and people are really upset about this. And what they're saying is, yeah, but I'm not going to go into your bar and live stream and, you're going to put me on camera. I've yet to find a bar that has come out and said, we are going to continue live streaming and put it in your face when you walk through the door. What I have heard is a lot of bars saying, well, look, we appreciate this is a revenue stream and it's something that we may be able to continue when we are allowed to open, but we'll do it upstairs, out the way, or we'll put it in a small corner of the bar and face the camera inwards rather than outwards. So, they're doing the best they can. It's a tough time right now for everybody.
So how do you charge, in terms of the revenue stream for them? Like, how does it work?
You really want to know about this?
I'm curious.
So
this innovative way.
The viewers are buying the girls' drinks. That's essentially the business model, right?
It's kind of like a virtual bar, because basically what they do is the girls will dance, and somebody might be watching the girl dance and say, oh, can I buy her a drink? They'll PayPal or however they use this payment gateway, and they'll pay 150 baht or whatever the charge is, and the girl will get a proportion of that, and obviously the bar does. Or you can ring the bell, and basically all the girls that are dancing, they can ring the bell, and again they just send their payment, and then each girl gets a proportion of that bell ring, and the bar will take their percentage.
So with many of them, do they still stay within the city, or do they go back to their hometowns and do it? Because considering it's virtual now, could you do it anywhere?
Well, what a great question. What an absolute blinding question. And I'll tell you the reason why is that what they've done is they've created their own monster, because a lot of these girls now have exactly thought what you've just said. They've all said to themselves, well, hang on, I could do this in my lounge and I don't need to be in front of the camera stuck in the city centre. So why don't I just go home and do this? And there are other websites out there. There's one website in particular, which is very, very popular. And I won't mention the name, but there's a website out there that's hugely popular where the girls have, people say, right, this always makes me laugh. People say, oh, they're stupid, these girls. They don't know. These girls are sharper than a razor blade, I'll tell you. And they've worked this stuff out. And what they've done is they've said, right, hang on, I just need to get a camera. And what they do is they then get onto their sponsors. Oh, darling, the buffalo's ill. Can you send me some money because I need to feed the buffalo? In comes a nice new webcam and a nice little setup. And away they go. And, it is an interesting situation, because I speak to a lot of the bar owners here, and their biggest concern, and it really is, and I'm not joking, it's a big, big concern right now, is two things. One, when they allow the bars to reopen, it is a bidder's war now. It's going to be, the girl's going to be stood there, and it literally is going to be a bidding war. I'll pay you this. Well, I'll pay you that. Well, I'll pay you a bit more than. Well, I'll pay you a bit more than what they're paying. And it's going to be that. It really is. And also, not only are the bar owners going to be forced into this bidding war, but a lot of the girls are going to be like, well, actually, I can sit at home and do my thing and earn just as much money, if not more, than by sitting on a bar for 8-10 hours a day.
Trouble with the Pattaya business model in the future, perhaps. Trev, can you have a talk to us about October the 1st? This date has sort of been put out as a time when the city and the province there generally may reopen to general travel. They're obviously going to be looking at this Sandbox model down south to see if that works. But what's the talk around the town about this possible reopening in October the 1st?
Oh, it's a lifeline right now. We are dependent on the Sandbox. And I would like to ask a question. I won't ask it right now, but I would like to ask a question about this Sandbox, because there's one question that really I just can't get my head around. So maybe, you could help me and answer that. But in terms of here, yeah, we are gearing up towards the 1st of October. It is a lifeline. It's something we're all clinging to, because, we do need it here. I mean, you walk around these streets now, it's not rocket science, and the place is just absolutely devastated. So we are praying that the Sandbox works. We're praying that Phuket can lead the way forward, and we can all follow suit. And if it happens, the problem is, you guys know as well as I do, they announce something 1 minute and 30 seconds later it's been changed, and it's like, oh, really? So it's very difficult to actually build up some true hope that this is going to happen. But the rumors on the streets and the feedback we're getting from the social media all tends to lean towards this date being, this is the day when it's all going to happen.
All right, Trev, if you've got nothing you'd like to add, we're going to thank you very much for joining us on Good Morning Thailand. Maybe we can hook up with you maybe every couple of weeks to find out what's happening there in Sin City. Good luck with your Buzzin Pattaya. You can, we'll put a link to your channel underneath. And we do thank you for your candour, for your expertise and your knowledge about the area. How long have you been living there?
I've been here 10 years now, but can I ask one question about the Phuket Sandbox?
Sure.
Well, correct me, because I'm not the sharpest pencil in the pencil case, so I might have got this wrong. But the Sandbox is basically, you go onto the island and you have to stay on the island for 14 days. Is that correct?
Correct.
Why can't you have a beer?
Well, you can go to your local 7-Eleven, assumedly,
yes,
and buy a beer, but you can't go to a bar and drink a beer.
Yeah, you can't consume it in
I
public.
can't leave the island. Why?
Well, I don't make the rules, Trev. I mean, you're admonishing me on the matter, but that's the rule. There is a ban on bars and entertainment venues opening at the moment.
And public gathering as well. I think that's to avoid people getting together and having parties.
So, yeah, there's the needs of the public health imperatives, and then there's, of course, the needs of the tourists, and there's a tug of war between the two. And this is what they've decided for the opening. Look, I imagine it's going to ease up if everything goes well. But for the early adopters, it's going to be more a matter of enjoying the beaches and all the nature walks and the tourist attractions that are open, because the bars won't be.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. I just thought I'd ask. I'll put myself back in my box now.
All right. We appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us on Good Morning Thailand.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's been a pleasure.
Back after this break.
The Thaiger is getting behind businesses for the restart of tourism next month. With 60,000 daily YouTube viewers, and around 8 million clicks on our website each month, half of them from overseas, let us help you get in contact with the next wave of inbound travelers. Thaiger is offering 50% discounts on packages right through this month. Details in the description under this video.
And you're back on Good Morning Thailand. Great to have Trev from Buzzin Pattaya on the program. A link to his channel under this video. Sumi, you and me, let's have a quick talk, and let's keep it brief. You went to a meeting on Saturday.
Yes, I did.
At Angsana in Phuket, and all the heavy hitters were there to talk about this Sandbox model in, I don't know, a minute or so. What happened?
Yeah, sure.
Nothing particular.
It's such a hot topic. I mean, there's a bit of a rumor that went on that day as well, because they had a discussion about the Sumi opening, which is 1st of August. So there was a bit of a chatter saying that Phuket might be delayed with the Sandbox, but it seems like it's all full steam ahead for 1st of July. So that was an award certification for the SHA Plus for all the establishments in Phuket that's gone through the 70% of the vaccination process. So they were awarded, I think there were over 300 venues, places.
So nothing more has really transpired. They basically said it's just going ahead.
Yep, it's still going ahead, but I think they're still working out some details in terms of, this quarantine, containment, what it all means, how many days, and so there's still about a few discussions on that.
And just to be clear, it still needs to be ratified by the CCSA, by the Thai Cabinet, and then sent for royal gazettement with a rubber stamp. I'm not sure if that's a verb.
Yeah, to make it official.
To make it official, and that's probably at least a week or so away. So that brings me to one of the comments from Max in California, the US, who says due to the delay in finalising the Phuket Sandbox, the Thai embassies worldwide will not be able to update the certificate of entrance application system, including no quarantine, in time. Hence, even if Phuket opens on July the 1st, it will not be able to visit until the earliest mid-July. It is going to be a bit of a rush for the embassies to do their paperwork. But I think there has to be a starting point.
Yeah.
And so if it's July the 1st and if it's 10 tourists on the first day and 20 on the second, at least that will eventually become thousands in coming months if everything proceeds okay.
Exactly, it's still progress. I think part of the COE, which is the certificate of entry, is the SHA plus bookings. So they're looking at authenticating the system booking so that it makes it easy to also issue the COE. So that they're working out all the details right now. So yeah, like you said, it's gonna the numbers will increase over time once they work it out, all the processes.
You got some messages there we've had over the weekend?
Yes.
You can pick them up and read them.
Okay, so quickly, I mean, we don't want to talk too much about Phuket. I think it's been such a hot topic, but there's a lot of talk about, you know, what's open and what's not, and what are the visitors are going to be doing in Phuket. So there's one very interesting comment. I think they were saying that we need a blogger that's on the ground in Phuket to see what's going on. So you've been doing a bit of that recently, Tim. So what do you think is going on the island?
Well, I mean, I'm actually on the island at the moment. We've got our office up in Bangkok as well, but I'm sort of semi-stuck here on the island. And if I'm going to be stuck on a tropical island, it's not that bad, let me tell you. Yeah, we have been sort of doing some on-the-ground video. We've been, I suppose, showing the real picture that the West Coast resort towns, places like Kamala, Patong, Kata, Karon, well, they're not quite ghost towns, but they're certainly very, very quiet. And we have been trying to be very honest about what is actually happening and hoping that some of those establishments can reopen. And we've also painted the picture of the other side of the island, the east side. Phuket town, Chalong, places like Talang are very busy with all the locals just going about doing their stuff. So we'll continue to paint that picture. We are on the ground and we'll continue to try and be as honest as we can, whilst of course the tourism authorities will be doing their best to beat the drum. What else you got?
Okay, so David Crossan. So except for the 2-week quarantine, the red tape requirement are still the same to enter the country, even with the vaccination. So I guess that talks about, would it deter visitors from coming to Phuket to visit, and what that all means. So there's a bit of a, you mentioned earlier about the play on word, quarantine, containment. I mean, we try to avoid the word quarantine because you're not really
we're not in a hotel room. No matter which way you want to use the word quarantine, you aren't restricted to your hotel room.
No.
You have the entire island of Phuket at your disposal. Now, admittedly, there are going to be some establishments, including bars it seems, that won't be open. But there is a lot to do around Phuket. There's some 30 beaches to start with. And those beaches have never looked better. So, yeah, it is a quarantine because they are isolating you on the island. But it's not a bad place to quarantine.
No, it's been really great actually. You know, I mean, the traffic is good. You know, the places are they're well kept and maintained over the year. Yeah, definitely best time to visit Phuket right now. There are places that are open and
Sure.
and getting new businesses. Particularly, I found was quite interesting that they're all coming to life. I mean, restaurants and cafes. Phuket town and also Changtalay area. So yeah, definitely there's a buzz around. Yeah, and the last comment. So again, they were talking about what's the point of traveling to Thailand where everything is closed, and this is Thailand as a whole, not just the Phuket Sandbox, because people will travel onwards or would want to travel onwards after the 2-week.
Yeah, I suspect, just before we get to the rest of the question, that a lot of people are going to use this sandbox model as a backdoor to getting back to their homes, getting to other parts of the country, to Chiang Mai, Pattaya, Bangkok or wherever. So I think a lot of people, they'll come here, Phuket will obviously take advantage of the fact that they're spending money on the island for those 2 weeks, but they're using it literally as a way of getting back into the country. So that's fine. The more people that come through Phuket Airport, the better.
Yeah, but not just tourists though, or visitors, but you do get residences from Bangkok or outside of Phuket that travels overseas and use Phuket Sandbox as a gateway to come back in as well.
And there's people who are married to a Thai person who've got families here who have been unable to get back into the country, long-term retirees. So a lot of these people will be able to use this model as an opportunity to get back into the country. And I think we're now at a stage where there's probably not going to be a lot, what am I saying? There's probably not going to be a lot of more fundamental changes to the model. I think it's now sort of pretty much fixed. I don't think they're going to change the 14 days. I don't think the bars are going to magically open. I don't think we'll still be wearing face masks. So I think all those basic things won't change. There might be some changes to visas and things over the next week or so before it's officially announced. But it is what it is.
Yes, and for me, I think that a clear indication is really flights, what's coming in, where are they coming from, and and the type of visitors we're going to get will be very different because it is low season now in Phuket, and traditionally the people that come are very different. So we're going to see a lot of changes, and I think it's going to change Phuket's destination as a travel industry.
Yeah. Well, which airlines flying? Obviously, the best way to find out is to book. But I would probably urge people just to hold back. Those flights are still going to be there, but don't book quite yet until we know exactly how you can get into the country. And some people will be able to transit through Bangkok as well. So it will be interesting. I think we're all going to be surprised by what happens. There's either going to be a lot more people than we thought, or there's going to be a lot fewer than we thought. Whatever we think, though, I'm sure we're all going to be surprised.
Yeah, but what surprises me that a lot of people are leaving Thailand to their home countries, or even visiting, getting vaccination outside of the country. We're seeing a lot more of that, and they're going for like a couple months because it's the summer holidays. They're taking the flights a little bit early, so because of the quarantine period, whichever country they go to allow that so they could come back for school starting in August. So it's quite interesting to see the travel pattern now compared to previous years.
Sumi, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, Tim, for having me.
Resplendent in red or crimson?
Ooh.
What would you or dark salmon? I'm not very good at paint colours.
I would say red.
You look great. Sumi, thank you very much for coming in and passing on the latest from that meeting on Saturday. Tomorrow we'll be crossing over to Sumi to find out what the latest is on that island. Thank you very much to Jay and to Jason for pressing the buttons, and our guest Trev for joining us online. And thank you for your comments. We do look forward to seeing you next time. We'll be back tomorrow on Good Morning Thailand.